Hello class, welcome to the second part of linear equation in two variables. In this video class, we will be studying about the two topics which are cross multiplication method and conditions for solvability. Let us first begin with cross multiplication method with some examples. Let us first understand the cross multiplication with an example, that is 2x plus 3y equals to 17 and 3x minus 2y equals to 6. Now, how do you solve by using this method? For that, what you have to do is you have to take all the numbers along with the variables to the left hand side. For example, 2x plus 3y, which was already in the left hand side. So you will bring the 17 to the left hand side. So 17 will come this side as minus. So you have equals to 0. This side, the second equation, that is 3x minus 2y, which was already in the left hand side. Now you have to bring the 6 to the left hand side. So it will come as minus 6 equals to 0. Once you have brought everything to the left hand side, then you have to write both the equations this way. That is 2x plus 3y minus 17 equals to 0, followed by the second equation, which is 3x minus 2y minus 6 equals to 0. After that, what you are going to do is, you will have to look for the first variable when you come from the left hand side. So when you are coming from the left hand side, the first variable that we come across is x. So we write the variable that is x out here. After x, the next variable that you come across is y. So we are going to write y somewhere out here. After you have written the y, we move to the third one, which is known as a constant. So as we know that in front of a number, if there is no variable, in front of a number, if there is no variable, the variable can be considered as 1. Just like, say for example, if you just have a variable and in front of the variable, if there is no number, the number can be taken as 1. Similarly, out here, since in front of the constant, we do not have a variable, so we can take instead of the variable as 1. So what we have done is, we have taken from the left hand side the first variable, that is x, second variable, that is y, and in the constant we didn't have the variable, so instead of the variable we have taken it as 1. Once you have done with that, we divide this, that is x this way, 1 this way. Now, after that, what you are going to do is, you will write the numbers after the x. That means we are going to cover the x portion and you are going to write the numbers after the x. That means whatever numbers are visible. Once you have covered the x, you will write the numbers which are visible. So the first visible number is plus 3 and minus 2. So I am going to write out here, that is 3 and just below that minus 2. Once it is written, then you go to the next number which is visible. So the next numbers which are visible are minus 17 and minus 6. So I will be writing out here, that is minus 17 and minus 6. Once you have written the numbers below the x, you will put equals to in between x and y. So x is over, now you go for the y. I need to now write the numbers for y. So what we will do is, we will cover the y section and after the y, whichever number is visible, you will write that number first. So the number that is visible is minus 17 and minus 6. After that, since we do not have a number, you come in the front. So in the front, what you have is the number 2 followed by 3. So I'll write 2 here and then followed by 3. You write the numbers as it is in the position. As the 2 is in the upper position, so it will be written in the upper position, followed by the 3 in the lower position. So we have the numbers for y, that is left side and right side. After that, you will put equals to in between y and 1. Now 1 means the last portion, that is your constant. So you are going to cover the constant. after the constant, since we do not have the numbers, you come in the front. So in the front what you have is 2 and 3. So you will write the numbers, that is 2, just below that 3. After 2 and 3, you have the next number, that is 3 and minus 2. So we'll write that out here, that is 3 followed by minus 2. So what we have done is, till now, we have the two equations. We brought everything to the left hand side. We wrote the first equation firstly, and then second equation just below the first one. After that, we wrote the first variable. When we came from the left hand side, the first variable we met is x. So after x, we wrote the y, because second variable is y. After y, we wrote 1, y1, because with the constant you do not have a variable, so the variable can be considered as 1. After that, what we did is we covered x, and then we wrote the visible numbers, that is 3 followed by minus 2, and then minus 17 and 6. Then we went for y, we covered for y, we wrote the numbers, that is this one. We covered the last part, that is a constant, and we wrote the visible numbers. After you have done with this step, what you are going to do is, you will cross multiply from the left hand side this way. That is, from the left hand side, you are not going to multiply straight. You are going to multiply the upper number followed with the lower number. That is from left hand side, I am going to right hand side. So I will first write x divided by, that is 3 into, that is minus 6. So this is your first part. Once you have multiplied the first part, you will put a bigger number, bigger sign, I mean to say. After you have put the minus sign, you will multiply the left numbers with the right one, that is minus 2 with minus 17. So it comes as minus 2 into minus 17. This is how you multiply for x. You put equals to, after equals to we go for y. Similarly, the way we have multiplied for x, we are going to multiply for y. That is, from left you multiply with the right number. That is minus 17 into 3. You put minus sign. Then you multiply the next left side number with the right one. That is minus 6 into 2. Equals to 1 divided by, multiply this 2. That is 2 into minus 2. Followed with a bigger minus sign, which is for the formula. Then you multiply with this 2, that is 3 into 3. Once you have done with this, now if you wish, after the formula minus, you can put a bracket so that you do not get confused. Now x, let's simplify this. So this will give you, 3 has a positive sign, this has a negative sign. So plus minus, minus 3 6 is 18. That is, in front of the 18 you will have a minus sign because we multiplied. Then you have this sign, that is of the formula. Minus minus inside the bracket will give you plus. 17 into 2 will give you, that is 34. So you are not going to put any sign for the 34 because minus minus has given you plus. Is equals to y. Here the first part, this will give you minus. This is 51. How come minus? This is plus, this is minus, so plus minus will give you minus. 17 into 3 is 51. Formula sign minus, inside the bracket you have plus minus, minus 6 2 is 12. Is equals to 1 divided by, this will give you plus minus, minus 2 2 are 4. Formula sign minus, inside the bracket you have 3 3 are 9. After that, x, let's open the bracket. So it gives you minus 18 minus 34 is equals to y divided by minus 51. Open the bracket. So minus minus will give you plus 12 is equals to 1 divided by minus 4 minus 9. Now what you're going to do is you'll simplify this. So x, multiply this to plus minus, I mean to say minus minus means plus, that means you'll add these two numbers. So when you add 34 and 18, it gives you the number, that's answer 52. You write the sign of the bigger number. So 34 is a bigger number, so it will be minus 52 is equals to, here y plus minus will give you minus. So let's subtract this. So 11 minus 2 will give you, that is 9. 4 minus 1 will give you 3. You write the sign of the bigger number since 51 is a bigger number. So you write the bigger number sign in front of it. Is equals to 1 divided by, this will give you minus minus plus 9 plus 4 will give you, that is 13. You write the sign of the bigger number. So what you have obtained is x divided by minus 52 is equals to y divided by minus 39 and 1 divided by minus 30. Now what you're going to do is, in order to get the answer, first you will write x followed by the number that is below it, that is 52, and then you will make it equal to the last part, that is 1 divided by minus 13. So this will fetch you the answer for x. So once we find the answer of x, we will find the answer for y. What you do is, you cross multiply this number that is below x. So it goes, the divide will go that as multiply. So it will give as x is equals to minus 52 into 1 will give you minus 52 divided by minus 13, which was as it is. Minus minus gets divided, 13 ones are 13, 13 fours are is 52. So the x answer is 4, which we have obtained. Now let's find the answer for y. So how do we find the answer for y? You write the y which is divided by minus 39. So that is y divided by minus 39 is equals to, and it will be equal to again the third part, because the third part does not contain any variable. So in the left hand side we have one variable. We will make sure that in the left hand side you have one variable, and in the right hand side it should be a number, not a variable, because number, I mean to say, the variable and variable cannot be made equal. If you are making the x and y equal, to find the answer of x and y is very difficult. So what you are going to do is, in the left hand side you will take one variable, and in the right hand side you will take a constant or a number, which we have done in the first case. Similarly here also, in the left hand side I have taken y. So in the right hand side I will take the number that is 1 divided by minus 13. The number which is below y, you have to take it to the other side, so it will go as multiply. So y is equals to minus 39 divided by minus 13. Minus minus gets divided, 13 ones are 13 and 13 threes are is 39. So y answer which we are getting is 3. So this is your solution, that is x is equals to 4 and y is equals to 3. So this is how you find the answer for x and y using the method that is known as your cross multiplication method. Let us now understand, that is cross multiplication, with another example. Out here, the two equations which are given, they have already been modified, that is the constants, they have already been taken from the right hand side to the left hand side. So the first equation is 2x plus y minus 35 equals to 0, and the second one is 3x plus 4y minus 65 equals to 0. Now what they have done is, they have written the x, that is the first variable when it comes from the left hand side, the second variable that is y, and the third one that is a constant, that is 1. And then you cover the x and then you write the numbers. So the first number after you have covered is 1 followed by 4. Then the next one is minus 35, minus 65, they have written here. For the y, you cover up and then you write the numbers, that is 2, 3, minus 35, minus 65. For the last one you cover up, you write the visible numbers, which is this one. You cross multiply from the left to the right, and then you put the sign for the formula, that is minus sign in between. After you have completed the first multiplication, you put the sign that is minus, and then you multiply the next, that is from the left hand side 4 into minus 35, which is the second part. Then for the y, you multiply, that is 2 into minus 65. You put the sign of the formula, that is minus. You multiply, that is 3 with minus 35. That comes here, second part. For the last one, that is 1. You multiply 2 into 4. That is written here. And you write the sign of the formula, which is minus. And then you multiply 3 into 1. Once you have done this, let's simplify. So minus 65 into 1 will give you minus 65. sign of your formula has been already multiplied with minus 35. So minus minus is giving you plus, 35 into 4 is giving you 140. For the y, plus 2 into minus 65 is giving you, that is minus 160, I am going to say 130. Minus minus plus 3 into 35 is 105. For the last part, that is 1. 4 2s is giving you 8, minus as it is, and 3 1s are 3. After that, in the next line you simplify this, plus minus will give you minus, 140 minus 65 will give you 75. You write the sign of the bigger number, so that is plus. For the y, what you do is plus minus is minus, so you subtract 130 with 105, so it gives you 25, and the minus sign of the upper one and the lower one has got cancelled. For the last one, that is constant, that is 1 divided by 8 minus 3 will give you 5, sign of your bigger number, that is 8. Then you write the first variable, that is x, with the constant, that is 1 by 5. You take the 75, goes the other side as multiply, so it becomes 75 by 5. You divide this, the answer is 15, that is 5 into 15 is 75. For the y, you do the same thing, that is you take this 25, that is divide to the other side with the constant, that is 25 into 1 will give you 25, which comes as 25 by 5. 5 1s are 5, 5 5s are 25, which gives you the answer of y as 5. So we have the solution of x as 15 and y as 5. I hope the cross multiplication method is clear. Now we move on to the second topic of today's class. The second topic is conditions for solvability. So till now we have studied about graphical method and algebraic method. Now we are going to study for the conditions for solvability. So let's go back to the graphical method. In your graphical method, we have studied about 3 types of lines, which are the first one, which is known as your, that is intersecting lines. The second one which we studied about is your parallel lines. And the third type of graph that we have studied about is coincident lines. So in graphical method, we have basically studied about these 3 types of lines: intersecting lines, parallel lines, and coincident lines. Now what is the meaning of intersecting is, if suppose on the graph you get the 2 equations as this, that is almost like an x, is known as your intersecting. Parallel lines means when the 2 equation lines, they come as parallel on the graph, is known as your parallel lines. And coincident means when the 2 equation solutions are joined by a single line, is known as your coincident. Am I clear? Now, in case of your intersecting, the 2 lines, they cross exactly at one point. So it is known as that point where the 2 lines they cross is known as a solution. So in case of intersecting, it is known as unique solution. Now, in case of your parallel lines, the 2 lines, they never cross each other or overlap each other, because of which it does not have any solution, so we call it as no solution. For the third one, that is the coincident lines, the 2 equation lines are joined by one single line. So it appears as if the 2 lines are overlapping each other. So since the 2 lines are overlapping each other, we can say there are infinitely many solutions. Now, after we have learned about the solution, that is unique solution, no solution, and infinitely many solution, or it can be also known as infinite solution, they have another name depending upon the solution. If suppose they have a solution, it is known as consistent. That is, your intersecting has one solution, so we call it as consistent. Similarly, coincident lines, they also have many solutions. So still they have a solution, so they are also known as consistent. Now, what about your parallel lines then? Since parallel lines, they do not have any solution, so we call this parallel lines as inconsistent. Now the next problem arises is the intersecting is also known as a consistent. Your coincident is also known as a consistent. So if suppose the two lines they are having the same name, the problem can be if suppose I am talking about consistent, am I talking about the intersecting or am I talking about the coincident? That is the problem. So what they have done is, for the intersecting lines, they call the consistent as your independent. It is also known as your independent. This is just to differentiate the intersecting and coincident, because both of them have the solution. So according to solution, they are also known as consistent. So since both of them are called as consistent, so in order to differentiate them, the intersecting is also known as your independent and the coincident is known as your dependent. Once you have understood this, that is intersecting, it has two more names, that is unique solution and consistent independent. Parallel has two more names, that is no solution and inconsistent. Similarly, coincident has infinite, many solution and consistent, that is dependent. Once you have understood this, these three lines, they have their own formula, which is known as the conditions for solvability. So what are the formulas? Let's talk about the first one, that is intersecting. So in case of intersecting, the formula is A1 by A2 is not equals to B1 by B2. This is the formula for your intersecting. Let's go for the formula for the parallel then. So for the parallel, the formula will become A1 divided by A2 is equals to B1 by B2 is not equals to C1 by C2. So this is the formula for parallel. Let's go for the last one, that is coincident. For the coincident, the formula is A1 by A2 is equals to B1 by B2 is equals to C1 by C2. So these are your three different formulas for intersecting, parallel and coincident. Now the question is, what does this A1 stand for or what does this A2 stand for? So basically, in case of your linear equation in two variables, they always give you two equations which are known as your system. So the two equations are normally written in the form of a format as ax plus by plus c equals to 0. So let's say this is the first equation which I have talked in the form of your format, that is ax plus by plus c equals to 0. And since they give you another equation also, which is also a linear equation, so we can say the second example is also somewhat the same format, that is ax plus by plus c equals to 0. Now the problem is, here also it has a, here also it has a. So the first equation numbers are given the number of the equation itself, that is with the a, that is the first number, you write the equation number, that is 1. B, that is the second number, you give it the equation number, that is 1. C, which is a constant, you give it the equation number, that is 1. So it becomes as A1, B1 and C1. So A1, B1 and C1 are the numbers involved in your first equation. Now we talk about the second one, that this is a second equation. So the numbers involved in the second equation are given the number of the equation itself, that is A2, B2 and C2. You are using the same A1, B1, C1 and A2, B2, C2 to make the formulas for this 3. I hope it is clear. Now, what type of question do you get in case of your conditions for solvability is, according to your book, they tell you, or the question is this way: comparing the ratios A1 divided by A2, that we write it as this way, that is A1 by A2, comma, B1 by B2 and C1 by C2. So the question according to your book, it says comparing the ratio A1 by A2, B1 by B2, C1 by C2, determine the given equations are intersecting or parallel or coincident. Same question can be solved or can be asked in another name, in another name form. Like they can tell you, comparing the ratios, determine which of the three equations, the three given equations are unique solution, no solution, infinite many solution. Even they can ask you in another format, that is comparing the ratios, determine which of the following are consistent and inconsistent. For time being, we are going to start with the first example, that is number 1, 5x minus 4y plus 8 equals to 0, and the other one, that is 7x plus 6y minus 9 equals to 0. Now in this example, what are you going to do is, you are going to compare the ratio and then you have to determine or tell or write, is it going to be intersecting or parallel or coincident. So how do you solve this? So what you are going to do is, first we will write the first equation, that is 5x minus 4y plus 8 equals to 0. Out here, in front of x, whatever number you have in the first equation, in front of the x, whatever number you have, that is known as A1. So A1 will become, that is 5. It does not have a sign, so I am writing 5. Then the number which is multiplied with the y variable is known as your b. So since we are talking about the first equation, so it becomes b1. That is, in front of y you have the number that is 4, but it has a sign that is minus. So if the number has a minus sign, we have to write the minus sign also. Then the last constant is written as C1, that is plus 8. You go for the second equation. So first we write the second equation, that is equals to 0, which I have written is 7x plus 6y minus 9 equals to 0. The number which is multiplied with x is known as your a. Second equation means a2, that is 7. In front of the y, whatever number you have, that is known as b. Second equation means b2, that is plus 6. No need to write plus sign. The last one, that is a constant, is c. Second equation means c2, that is, it has a minus sign, so you write minus sign. After you have written a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2, you will find the ratio, that is a1 divided by a2 is equals to, now a1 is how much? 5. So 5 divided by a2 is how much? 7. So 7. So this is the ratio for a1 divided by a2. Now you find the ratio for the b, that is b1 divided by b2. So b1 is minus 4 and then b2 is 6. If suppose you can cancel, please divide. That is 2 2s are 4, 2 3s are 6. So it gives you the answer, that is minus 2 by 3. Now compare the ratio of a1 by a2 and b1 by b2. If the ratio is same, then only we go for the third ratio. If the ratio is different, like in this example, the A ratio and B ratio is not the same. A ratio it gives you the answer, that is 5 by 7, and B ratio is giving you the answer, that is minus 2 by 3, which means they are not the same. So if they are not the same, you do not find the third ratio, but directly you can say A1 ratio, that is divided by A2, is not equals to B1 by B2. Now you tell us, this formula is for which one? Which type of line? Is it for intersecting? Is it for parallel? Or is it for coincident? So we know that in the formula, that is A1 by A2, that is not equals to B1 by B2. This formula is coming from the first one, which is known as your intersecting. So we call this as intersecting lines. Sometimes in some questions we also can write it as your unique solution. And sometimes it can be also written as your consistent. So this is how you can compare the ratio and determine if it is intersecting or not. Let's understand the same thing with another example. So in the second example, we have taken it as 9x plus 3y plus 12 equals to 0 and 18x plus 6y plus 24 equals to 0. So let's compare the ratio and find out if it is intersecting or parallel or coincident. So what I'm going to do is, since this is your first equation, you write A1, which is 9. I hope you have understood. Second one is B1, that is 3. And C1, which will become 12. For the second equation, you write A2, which is 18, B2, which is 6, and C2, which is 24. So you have written the values of A1, B1, C1, A2, B2, C2. Now you compare the ratios. So how do you compare? That is A1 divided by A2. So A1 value is 9 and A2 value is 18. Since we can cancel this, you can cut this by 9 ones are and 9 twos are. So it gives you the answer that is 1 by 2. Let's find the ratio for the second one. That is B1 by B2 is equals to B1 value is 3 divided by 6. We can cancel this. 3 ones are, 3 twos are. It gives you the answer that is 1 by 2. So we see that the answer for the A ratio and answer for the B ratio is the same, 1 by 2 and 1 by 2. So if the answer of A ratio and B ratio is same, we move on to the third part, that is third ratio, C1 by C2. So C1 value is 12 and C2 value is 24. You can cancel this. So it will give you the answer that is 12 ones are, 12 twos are 24. That is 1 by 2. Now we find that the answers for the three ratios, that is A ratio, B ratio and C ratio is the same. So if it is same, we can say the formula is A1 by A2 is equals to B1 by B2 is equals to C1 by C2. Now, let's find out this formula belongs to which type of lines. So, we have already studied that this formula is of the third type of line, that is known as your coincident. So, we can say therefore it is coincident line. Or coincident line is also known as your infinitely many solution. Let us understand more about the conditions of solubility by the third example, which I have taken it as 6x minus 3y plus 10 equals to 0 and 2x minus y plus 9 equals to 0. So what I do is, using the first equation, we will write the value for A1, B1 and C1. A1 will become as plus 6, B1 will become that is minus 3 and C1 will be 10. For the second equation, it is A2 which is 2, B2 which will be minus 1. Now why minus 1? Because in front of a variable, if we do not have a number, the number can be taken as 1 and the sign is minus, so we have written it as minus 1. Then C2 which is plus 9. Once we have the values, now you find the ratio. So A1 by A2 which will be 6 by 2. Let's cancel this. 2 ones are, 2 threes are. So you have the answer that is 3 by 1. Let's find the ratio for the B, that is B1 by B2 which will be minus 3 divided by minus 1. Minus minus gets cancelled. So the answer that is left is 3 divided by 1. So we find that the answer for the A ratio and B ratio is same, that is 3 divided by 1 and 3 divided by 1. So if the answer for the A ratio and B ratio is same, we go on to find the third ratio, that is C1 by C2, that is 10 by 9. But you cannot cancel this. So since we cannot cancel this, we find that A ratio, B ratio is same, but the C ratio is different, unequal. So we can say that is A1 by A2 is equals to B1 by B2 which is not equals to C1 by C2, as we have already found. So let's find this formula belongs to which type of line. So we have already studied that this formula belongs to the second, which is known as your parallel lines, which is also sometimes known as no solution, or it is also known as inconsistent, as it does not have any solution. I hope you have enjoyed the class. Until we meet again in the next video, to complete the chapter, do keep practicing. Thank you.